Shalom. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who does lead and rule well. Salutations and shalom to all you hopeful elect Akim pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And sincere shalom also to you Akim and Aqua for listening and learning and preparing yourselves here in these last days. And to the entire household of faith, fighting this good fight of faith, I want to say shalom. This is your brother Daquar from the DC camp. Come back at you with another lesson. And I'm going to title this one, The End of Your World. And it's directed to, the leaders of this world, man. Chiefly Esau. All right. Because according to 2nd Esdras 6 and 9, for them it's the end of the world. But for us, it's the beginning there is that followeth. Let me get that real quick. Then I'm going to get into the lesson. But we getting this all from the scriptures, man. This is prophecy, and the prophecy showing itself to be true. All right, this is 2nd Esdras 6 verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." Now, when we talking about the end of the world, we ain't talking about the end of of all things, man. The end of the planet Earth. No, the Lord putteth down one and riseth up another, and bringeth up another. So the end of their world, the end of this heaven that they've been enjoying, that their blessing is about to come to an end. And as the scriptures say, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, man. Yeah, because simultaneously, we at the end of our captivity, and it's going to be the beginning of our everlasting rule, starting with our Lord, but we, ought to be joint heirs. Lord's will we be those men, but at the end of the day, we know that the Yasharala is going to be the next ruling power. Now, the Lord is taking things, according to prophecy, he's having these different nations come up against each other, come up against Babylon the Great. Yeah, we using the code words, but to bring about this end, and that's what we seeing in the earth. We watching and we see the Lord doing this thing, man. So Lord's will, this lesson can be edifying. I'm going to get a couple of articles and, a few scriptures and brothers can do responses or add to it, because, this is the time we should be edifying our people and letting them know what's going on. All right. Now, let me start with, get that out of here. Let me start with, this article right here. All right. This came out, what was it? Yesterday, actually. It says commentary, why more developing countries are saying no to U.S. hegemony. Let me get that. That's a word that I learned from our elders doing them algorithms. All right. It says leadership or dominance, especially by one country or a social group over others. Now, it's kind of like twofold, because you got the elites, whom the world knows as the Illuminatis, man. But then you got America, that whore that's riding on the beast. Now the strings is really being pulled by the super elites, but on the face, it's Babylon. And this is the beacon of wickedness, man. And the Lord's going to address it in all of them, But let me read. All right. And that was a Pentagon. It says, many recent media reports focus on one fact. The international community, Slovakia, especially developing countries, are more and more vocal in their criticism of the hegemonic and selfish behavior of the U.S. A peaceful and stable international environment, the biggest aspiration for developing countries, Slovakia, is a precondition for national development. However, it is made out of reach by the U.S., the biggest peace breaker and troublemaker in today's world. Now, I was watching a video. Oh, man. Whose video was it? It escaped me, but this past week, where these leaders across the world is coming up with videos and pretty much coming at the U.S., man. For being hypocrites. Where is it? It says, Okay. It says countries like Iraq and Afghanistan are still trapped in turmoil because of the wars launched by the United States there. As for the Ukraine crisis, the United States is constantly fanning the flame and hindering other countries from promoting talks for peace. Leaders of many developing countries believe that by prolonging the crisis, the United States is exacerbating the Ukrainian suffering and impeding the resolution of other pressing issues facing the international community. Now, this is all a part of the Lord putting it in their mind to hate the whore, man. You know? It says, we don't want to go on discussing who will be the winner or the loser of a war, said Colombian Vice President Francis Marquez. We are all losers, and in the end, it is humankind that loses everything. U.S. hegemony has damaged all economies in the world, especially the developing ones with a relatively weak development foundation. Over the years, the United States has arbitrarily imposed sanctions on other countries, erected tariff barriers, and disrupted global industrial chains and supply chains. After the escalation of the Ukraine crisis, U.S. led Western countries launched severe sanctions against Russia, resulting in a spike of prices of global food, energy, and other commodities, which overwhelmed developing countries. The United States is playing camp confrontation, undermining international cooperation. Slovakia. However, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and other countries have made it clear that they do not want to be forced to choose sides between China and the United States. In the name of promoting democracy around the world, the United States is actually harming the interests of many developing countries. When U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited South Africa last August, and I believe it was South Africa. It was South Africa who, their president who was saying those things. Let's see. Last August, South African Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, now the Pandora, made it clear that you can't just come in and claim to lecture about democracy. Foreign interference has created instability, including funding opposition groups against liberation fighters. Wow, so he called them out there. You know, they was talking about Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein. All right. It says it is obvious that more and more developing countries are now vocal in their opposition to the various irresponsible actions of the United States, with many refusing to follow the United States in imposing sanctions against Russia. Saudi crown prince and this is why the scriptures talk about Russia is going to be a guard unto them, because they done built up their country and their power so that these nations have a covering. Because if they went against what the U.S. said, then they will be the ones getting sanctioned. Where is it? Saudi crown prince, and Saudi, that's how they made the petrodollar. Saudi crown prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, whatever, said lately that he is prepared to pursue Saudi interests without the help of the United States, including restoring ties with U.S. adversaries like Iran. You see that? And so they supposed to be allied with them, man. It says Kishore Mob. I'm not even gonna try to read his name. I could read it. Anyways, a distinguished fellow at the Asian Research Institute, National University of Singapore, and Washington must adapt to the new reality. Developing countries are becoming more sophisticated and more capable of making their own decisions. A report recently released by the European Council on Foreign Relations, a European think tank, pointed out that America's global hegemony is rapidly declining, and many people in the global South wish to build a multipolar world. For years, American politicians have been used to pointing fingers at other countries and acting willfully on the international arena. It remains to be seen if they have noticed the changes in the global South and started to reflect on the reasons behind them. And I just wanted to read that. I got a few other ones, you know, but let me get a couple scriptures really quick. And you seeing it, man. You got the BRICS countries ditching. Let's see. De-dollarization. See that? BRICS nations to issue new currency back. Let's look at this. Which, you know, we know that this is happening because they want to usher in the CBDC system, man, which is ultimately going to be the MOTB system. So we know what's going on. But look at all these countries. He says in March, did I get that one? India. In March, India inked agreements to trade in Indian rupees with 18 nations. Most recently, India and Malaysia announced they will start trading in Indian rupees, right? Iran, the country sanctioned by the U.S., has fully abandoned U.S. dollar in its trade with Russia and China. So America is going to have to do something about that, man. So all of this stuff is intertwined. The economies, all right, war. You know, even little these pestilences intertwined, man. It's all scriptural. It says Saudi Arabia, the OPEC nation, has declared it will abandon petrodollar and accept yuan. So it's either the Americans, they're gonna have to get in front of it and come up with their own thing, or they're gonna have to go to war, which both is gonna happen. Brazil and China recently inked an agreement to trade in the Chinese yuan and ditch the U.S. dollar. And then China is working on plans to pitch the yuan as as an alternative to U.S. dollar in global trade. It's promoting its currency through the BRICS, SCO, and OPEC, man. And this is how the America kept its power. The Russia-Ukraine war made Moscow ditch the U.S. dollar like never before. Russia is now increasingly using the Chinese yuan and international trade. It's also working on plans to launch a joint BRICS currency. So we see what's going on, man. Shalakia. Damn. So let me get this. Go to this, man. Damn. What the heck? All right. Here we go. Let's start at Jeremiah. Babylon judged for sins against Israel. Mind you, all this stuff is happening because of us, man. You know, it says that in Joel. Let me see where I want to start. This is Jeremiah 51 verse 5. It says, "For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, of Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." Just like Revelation, the 17th chapter. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Yeah, and this is the fornication, man. That all these nations they followed after her, you know, her ways. This democracy, you know, their philosophy is being pushed, and it's destroying these nations, man. That's why they're mad, you know. In America, they're gonna be judged for what they've done, man. Let's see where I want. This is Habakkuk, second chapter, right? This Habakkuk 2 verse 3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not right upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." So we also know this is talking about Esau, man. You know? Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, see? He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So this is how he spread that wine, man. His philosophy. Like the scripture said, they are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Is talking about their philosophies, man. You know, their belief systems, their way of life. And they're pushing that on all the other nations because he keep him not at home, man. Verse 6, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay," or debt, because they just printing debt, printing money, making all this debt. Now look at this. Get this out of here. Let me see. Damn. I had it. I'm trying to think of where is it. Where is it? Right here. It says, "Is the U.S. still a hegemony? The U.S. hegemony of the U.S. dollar," see how it all intertwines, "is the main source of instability and uncertainty in the world economy. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States abused its global financial hegemony and injected trillions of dollars into the global market, leaving other countries, especially emerging economies, to pay the price." So when I go to U.S. hegemony and its perils, it's going, and I'm gonna post this in the link in the description box, Lord's will, if I can remember. But if not, just look up U.S. hegemony and its perils. And this came in February 2023. But it got three, look at it, 5 different things: political hegemony, throwing its weight around; military hegemony, wanton use of force; economic hegemony, looting and exploitation; technological hegemony, monopoly and suppression; and cultural hegemony, spreading false narratives. This would be a cool one to go into, man. But I'm not going to get all that right now. But all of these different things which they used, and the nations are they're tired of it, man. And they feel like they've been duped, especially with the dollar, man, because America's able to just print as much as they want. This is bringing about the end, man. And there's nothing they can really do about it, man. Because it's thus saith the Lord. So let me get, got that. Let me get Ezekiel real quick. Because it's false weights and balances, man. You're supposed to give just weights and balances. Ezekiel 18. It says, "You ladeth yourself with thick clay," man. So they taking a proverb against you, man. I'm going to go back to that, but let me get Habakkuk 2 and verse 6 again. I'm going to read down. It says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? They shall not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee." Salah. Yeah. "And a weight that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of thy people shall spoil thee." Of the people shall spoil thee, "because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein." So, verse 9. All I'll read that. It says, woe to him that covereth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. And then it goes into, them that build a town by blood and establish it by iniquity, man. For all these reasons, you're going to be destroyed, man. Oh, that just made me think of, what's that in Apocrypha? Sirach, the 10th chapter, I believe. Dang. Oh, yeah. Sirach 10. Sirach 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So for all these reasons, man, for your unrighteousness, this is going to bring about the end. Okay? Now let me get Ezekiel, the 18th chapter. Where do I want to start? This is Ezekiel 18 and verse. I gotta hurry up. I gotta get out of here. All of it is good. I'll read the whole chapter, but let me just get to the point. It says, verse 13, it says, have given forth upon usury and have taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He have done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. Because in the law, you're not supposed to exact usury, man. And that's what they do. They lend. And it's so crazy even here, the banking system, man. And that's why they trying to put all these different banking systems into these nations, man. So they can have control. But it was another one in Ezekiel that I wanted. The 28th chapter. Here we go. Bear with me. This is Ezekiel 28. And I'm going to start at the top. It says, the Tyre's kings overthrown. You see that, right? And this is why you being overthrown, man. It says, the word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas, which is the people. Yet thou art a man, and not the Most High. Though thy set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. So you're just a man, And the Lord gonna show you to be just a little fucking man. All right. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Exactly. By thy great wisdom, verse 6. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Beautiful. And you brought all this upon yourself, man. It says, verse 9, wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am the Most High? But thou shalt be a man and no power in the hand of him that slayeth thee. So, hey, look, man, the Lord going to show you to be just a man. All right? I got a little bit more, but let me get a couple more articles, man. Well, just to see. It says, after decades of U.S. hegemony, this is South China Morning Post. And this is why they want to get rid of the internet, man, so they can control the narrative. It's one of their things. It says with Asian, BRICS, and Shanghai Cooperation Organization members pushing to settle trade and payments with each other's currencies, the rush to dollarize is gaining momentum. States put off by U.S. sanctions and a weaponized dollar are increasingly taking advantage of the rise in alternatives to the U.S.-led economic system. So you see that, man? They brought this upon themselves, man. Do I want to read all this? I'm not going to read all this, man. But this is a good article. What was it? It was another one that I was looking at. Not this one. What the heck? Well, I'll read a little bit on here. So the Ukraine war has caused seismic geopolitical and economic shifts, with Russia and China leading a rush to de-dollarize trade. Last week, Brazil began to accept trade settlements and investments in the yuan. The week before, China paid yuan for liquefied natural gas from France's Total Energies on the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange, its first yuan-settled international LNG trade. That same week, Asia's finance ministers and central bank governors gathered to discuss greater cooperation in using local currencies for the region's trade, with Indonesia suggesting a move away from Visa and MasterCard. Last month, Saudi Arabia, which China has been persuading to move toward yuan-settled oil and gas trade, decided to become a dialogue partner in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO. Both the kingdom and Iran, which has long supported a move away from the dollar, have expressed interest in joining BRICS, the bloc comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that, like the SCO, is interested in developing alternative payment and settlement systems to dollar denominated ones. Let me see. No, I want to read the whole thing. So let's just keep it going. Like I said, Lord's will, I'll put those articles in the description. But this is it, man. Now we know that, China and America, they kind of work together, man. But you got to understand it's higher than what you see on the surface, because the elites is pushing for this cashless society. And they're creating this chaos to bring in the order, which is going to lead into the MLTP, which we've been telling you. So they need the collapse of the dollar, the petrodollar, and it's going to get crazy as hell out here in America. In fact, what's that? The second address. I'm going to read second address 15. And I'm going to read second address 16. Not the whole thing. And again, I got to kind of go a little quick because I got to get out of here and go push camp. Second address 15. This is a prophecy, man. This is second Esdras 15, verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So once it gets terrible out here, you think people going to be listening to these orders? They're going to be trying to defend themselves, man, and their families, or protect and take care. It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun from the south." Let me see. Is this what I wanted? Oh, the rest of it was in the 16th chapter, Salakia. Um, so it says, was second chapter 16:1. Woe be unto Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. So, all these nations, honestly, is going to get it. But, okay, 16 and 18. I'm going to start it. Yeah. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. Damn. You see that? Because that's what's all going to happen, especially here, man. And the other that shall escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall no man comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. 24. Where am I? All right, verse 24. It says, there shall no man be left to till the earth and to sow it. So it's going to be few men. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? That's how many people is going to die, man. But this is what we supposed to be watching for, man. Let me see. Get a couple more and I'm going to close. I'm not going to make it too much longer. Yeah. It's Revelation 17, verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom to the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So the Lord is doing what he said he was going to do, man. They agreed, and the scriptures talk about their fornication, right? Revelation 19:2, it says, for true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore, which is America, Babylon, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. So they're gonna be, the fornication it starts with this monetary system, man. But it's all of it. But he's gonna avenge the blood of us, man. Like I said, all this is happening. The Lord is pleading our cause. All right. So this is First Peter 4 verse 7. It says, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So, and that's what we ought to be doing in these days, man. Because this is the Lord is bringing all this stuff about fast, man. And it's going to come as a thief in the night into the ones that is not paying attention, man. The ones that's not watching. So, hey, this is the end of their world, man, but not ours, man. It's going to be the beginning. So we keep faith. It said, be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So with that, Lord willing, was edifying. To the next one, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushua Bahasham Kakadash. I want to say shalom.